followed by an in-depth explanation of what that scene looked like, including images depicting the
No.
Gracias. What the?
Examples like this are prevalent all throughout the pages of Life with Grandpa, with erotic material being shown constantly with no regard as to how inappropriate this is to be showing kids, which begs the audience.
Back to another reaction video. I'm Inde.
And I'm Ollie.
And today we got
the darkest kids TV show ever made. This is about one show.
Yeah, the darkest TV show ever made.
Kids TV show.
You ready?
Yep.
Well, look, I hope all y'all that's watching this video is taking care of yourselves. Let's get into the video. If I sound crazy, I got a cough drop in my shit. I know it, but look, it might seem like I'm always sick when I record, but it just, like, look, I got a good excuse though from last night. It's getting cold and I had the fan on like the highest level and it was a fucking icicle in this bitch. She said she was hot. I was freezing my fucking ass off and I woke up like kind of a little under the weather, just a little bit.
He's okay, he's just a little dramatic.
No, actually, okay, what it was though, to be fair, we almost didn't record a video today because I took some medicine, that Benadryl, and I'm feeling fucking drowsy right now. But I was like, nah, fuck that shit. I gotta lock in. You ready? Let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's go. Who the fuck is that guy?
You.
It's suicide abuse. Wait a minute. What are we talking about? Suicide. Incest. What show is this?
Kids show?
Oh, let's get into it. I'm not like, yeah, okay.
It's the winter of 1985. A family living in a remote region of the Philippines receives a package at their door, which contained a single VHS tape and a note stating that the contents were for the children of the house. And so the kids were gathered up one by one and sat in front of the television where the tape began to play.
I just knew this was gonna be something weird and freaky. Like, what do you mean a tape delivered to their house?
Life?
This was the experience for hundreds of kids across
creepy.
the world, made to watch a seemingly harmless puppet show about a grandpa and his family, with most of the young viewers loving it, gladly watching this episode and the many others that would be sent later on, over and over again, blissfully unaware that what they were being shown would someday come to be known as one of the most disturbing
Why
rabbit
is this
holes in the
creeping me
history of
out
children's
just looking
media.
at it?
This is the story of Life with Grandpa, the darkest kids show ever made.
That's not a kid's show.
I don't like puppets.
Me either.
Dad, I don't want you to leave.
Can I persuade you to subscribe?
Before we dive any further down this rabbit hole, I want to first thank today's video sponsor, Saley. Throughout my life, I've taken countless trips to Canada as I live right by the border.
Every time I see him, he just looks like Mr. Beast even more.
Yeah, I know, that's
until I see the roaming
Holy
fuck.
Does anybody else like notice that? Yeah, I feel bad for skipping his ass. He the only nigga that I feel bad for skipping his ass. Him and CJ. It's good though, we good.
In 8 different regions. So if this sounds like something you guys might be interested in, you can get an exclusive 15% off discount on your Saley eSIM data plan. All you have to do is download the app and use code Crowley at checkout. Or you can also scan the code on screen right now and get started today.
Fellowship dedicated to sharing.
She loved to play on the steep hillside.
Life with Grandpa, won't you come along?
No.
I'm turning this shit off.
I would not show this to my kids.
This is Life with Grandpa, a straight-to-VHS
creepy.
show made for children created sometime in the mid-80s. The program followed a family of humanoid puppets on their journey to teach the audience lessons loosely based on Christianity, through the use of stories, skits, and songs, acting as a guide for children to live their best possible lives for Jesus.
We're continuing with some more lessons about prayer. Are you all ready?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Lord. Such sweethearts.
The show was set up in an episodic fashion, never following any main overarching storyline, and instead, each installment would be composed of a series of
I'm trying to give it a
segments.
chance. Like, I'm not trying to be biased, because, like, you know, we can tell how this show is gonna end. But even if this was like a sweet show, this shit still kind of creeped me out a little bit. Even if this shit like wasn't.
That's what I'm saying.
It should look kind of
creepy. I'm not gonna show this to my kids. If I had any.
Past experiences from this family, with an occasional musical number thrown in here and there.
We don't have a sad God.
Look at his fucking eyes.
Ew,
Unsurprisingly, the main character of the crew was Grandpa, who acted as the show's host, often being the one to teach the episode's central messages not only to his on-screen family, but to all the kids watching at home.
But it's my kite.
But wouldn't you like to pray that some poor little boy who doesn't have so many toys and blessings as you do will find your kite?
Yes,
No.
Grandpa.
As he was made to be a wise, almost religious-like figure whose words were never questioned. Often seen by his side was his wife, Mother Maria, though for as often as she's shown, she rarely has much to say.
Yes.
Her eyes are looking two different directions.
Sweet boy.
I don't like how their mouth is just slightly open.
Typically only
Me
chiming in
either.
when she's reiterating Grandpa's messages to the children. And of the children, there was Davida, Techi, and Davidito, with the latter being one of the show's central figures, landing right next to or potentially even ahead of Grandpa in terms of screen time, as Davidito often got his own segments and told his own stories directly to the audience.
Hello, children. Would you like to hear some exciting prayer adventures? This first story happened when I was very small.
And though it's never outright stated, it's clear that Davidito was put on a pedestal, with the child often getting special treatment and being showered in gifts, as the family clearly seemed to favor him.
Thank you, Uncle Al.
It's called a kite.
We want to give you a little surprise because you were such a good witness.
This brand new tape recorder is for you.
Thank you, Jesus.
With there never being an explanation as to why. This is the core group of Life with Grandpa, with the only other reoccurring characters being Aunt Sarah and Uncle Elf, a couple that was often shown around the house helping look after the kids.
Why he
Despite
look
this
like
looking
he looked like somebody, bro?
He looked like the dude with the axe from The Shining.
He looked like the nigga from the I don't know if it's the same dude. You know the paper towel commercial?
Bounty.
Yes, he looks like him. Oh my god.
Elf, a couple that was
That's
often
so
shown
random.
around the house helping look after the kids. And despite this looking like something pulled straight from the depths of the uncanny valley, the content within the show didn't really seem all that troublesome.
He looks
In
like
fact,
Dora.
it appeared fairly normal, and not too unlike the many other low-budget religious shows of the time, highlighting themes like obedience,
Nothing short of right is right.
Yes, so the right thing is...
To obey.
sharing,
Good morning, Davida. I have a surprise for you. Oh, can I see it? I would like to share my cars with you. Which ones do you like?
and loving everyone.
That's really sweet of you, David. Thank you for that nice, generous present.
What present?
That nice kiss. A kiss makes a real beautiful gift or present.
Though mixed within these fairly standard teachings, you'll find
No.
other moments that are far more unusual.
Yo, it's getting kind of crazy.
Don't run
already-
down
I
that
already
gravel
knew.
hill. Davida! Oh, Davida.
She's bleeding, and her cut is all covered with dirt.
And I don't even have a tissue to wipe it with.
Don't do
I'll
it.
just have to lick it clean and
Oh
spit
my-
out the dirt.
The show featured a lot of strange underlying
Motherfucker,
themes
she didn't get bit by a snake? What are you doing that for?
That is just
Bro,
freaky.
wait a minute.
nasty.
No, that is actually some freaky ass shit. Cause like,
The fuck are they trying to teach kids? Like,
just get to the house. Just go to the house.
I know that this is bad.
Just go to running water. Just get some running water.
with religion, or at least not the conventional beliefs of Christianity, with one of the more obvious being its unprompted disdain for doctors.
We'll have to really pray that there won't be a scar.
Soon afterwards, there was no sign at all of the deep gash on Davida's forehead. Surely a doctor would have stitched it, but our God is still a God of miracles. Praise the Lord.
The fuck?
As well as its constant endorsement of spanking.
Okay.
Jesus spanks us because he loves us and wants us to obey and be good.
This is giving cult. It's giving cult.
We're really sorry. So if the Lord should spank you a little bit or correct you, it's for your own good. It's because he loves you and wants you to be good and obey.
And while these are certainly
I know that this
strange,
is giving
by far
cult.
the most glaring
But I really, really hope these are not actual kid voice actors, like acting it.
Oh, I never thought of
That's
that.
so like scary.
Holy fuck.
I think there's
might
a
be.
cult made this. I think a cult made this
A cult?
movie. I'm being for real. You would be surprised by how weird religious cults be.
No, I know. I remember
to make a show like this and mail it.
I know
to
how that shit get.
Seems
I remember I seen that
like it has to be more than
a
one
while
person.
ago. I seen that when they was at like a farm or some shit, and they all took the poison at the same time, and it was like thousands
No, they're
dead.
on an island.
Oh, it was?
I think the Jonestown part.
Yeah, the Jonestown shit.
Yeah.
That was the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Kool-Aid. It was like poisoned.
Bro, it's
And
just,
those who didn't want to drink it, they would shoot them.
that is the craziest shit I've ever heard of in my life. Like kids was in that shit too. That might be the craziest shit ever.
Yeah, cults are.
Yeah, this is getting like kind of hectic though.
It had to be more than one person
wasn't just
making
your
this. That's the
typical kid
creepy
show.
part.
Came from the program's stance on women, with the first major example coming from a song made for the young girls watching on.
So do the dishes and clean the floor, and God can show us something more. I'm ready for any job at all, whether it's big or whether it's small. I'm ready to go, ready to stay, ready my place to fill. Ready for service, lowly or great, ready to do God's will.
Ready for
The
service.
message behind the song is clear. If you're a woman, then it's your job to cook, clean, and have babies. And that's about it, as this is God's will and your sole purpose for existing. And while this ideology was certainly not as controversial at the time, the show took it even further, as it hammered home this idea to all the children watching on by repeating one line at the end over and over again.
Trust and obey, for there's no other way. Trust and obey, for there's no other way. Trust and obey, for there's no other way.
Making it clear that this was a lesson that the showrunners didn't want these kids to question. But as comically offensive as this song is, it was far from the worst that the show had to offer.
It's time for our lecture song.
He's a friendly scientist, a real good friend of ours.
In another episode, we're shown a musical number about Grandpa, who's portrayed as a scientist that's always busy working, though the song is really less about him and more about his love interest.
Get bent out of shape, 'cause he's in love with a robot. Watch her click and spin. Ooh, yeah.
I thought the grandpa had a wife.
With long hair and nude female breasts. It's one of the most surreal things that I've ever seen on a kid show.
I knew I wasn't fucking tripping. I was like, wait, what am I looking at?
I didn't even notice that because the mic is in the way. What the frick?
What did he just? I seen him like go. Did he just? The niggas.
Female breasts.
Wait a minute, time out.
A robot.
What was that? When he said, what was that?
I don't know.
Nah, this is hell no, bro.
With long hair and nude female breasts. It's one of the most surreal things that I've ever seen on a kid show,
That is just
as this
creepy.
thing was clearly meant to be a portrayal of Grandpa's wife and women in general, likening them to robots. Though unlike the previous demeaning song, this number is blatantly perverted, as it not only shows the robot having breasts, but it also shows Grandpa fondling them as well. And these perversions weren't even exclusive to its imagery.
What's in his key? That's when she gets excited.
It's shocking for so many reasons, but mainly due to the fact that this was on a show that was literally made for toddlers and young children, who were now being shown this clearly explicit content. And most disturbing of all is the realization that this sexualized material was actually nothing new to the world of Life with Grandpa. Predating the puppets, there was a little-known illustrated book series called Life of Grandpa, with the show practically being a shot-for-shot remake of this book series, featuring the same exact characters and stories. And much like the show, the series was also a religious guide created for children. In its pages, you'll find themes about morality and lessons made to guide you towards a proper way of living through this religion. But these books also had a very apparent dark side, one far worse than the show it inspired. In the chapter Real Fathers, we're shown a scene where Techi and Davidito question why they have two different skin colors, despite them being siblings, as Techi noticed that Davidito's skin appeared light brown, while hers was almost pure white, to which Grandpa then explains to them how his wife and their mother had slept with other men. See, God used Timothy and Carlos only to fuck mama so that I could have you both. They were just like an
Wait,
instrument.
what the nigga say? No way.
How do you even find this?
I don't know, bro. Wait a minute though. That's kind
God
of.
used Timothy and Carlos only to fuck mama so that I could have you both. They were just like an instrument or tool that Jesus used to help create you wonderful little children for his kingdom. Praise the Lord.
What the fuck?
This was followed by an in-depth explanation of what that scene looked like, including images depicting the
No.
Gracias, gracias. What the?
Examples like this are prevalent all throughout the pages of Life with Grandpa, with erotic material being shown constantly with no regard as to how inappropriate this is to be showing kids. Which begs the obvious question, why?
No.
Why was Life
That
with
is
Grandpa
not
so blatantly perverted?
a kid's show.
Well, the answer lies with the author of the books, and the reason for the show's existence.
A creep.
That shit
David
is sick.
Berg.
Yeah, put his name out
The
there.
sound of a trumpet, and
You
they shall gather
sick
together
son of a
Jerusalem.
bitch.
That's when Jesus is going to come back to rapture.
And of course, he would look just like the grandpa.
Right?
The
Born in
fuck?
1919, David grew up a devout believer in Christianity, but wanted something more from the religion. He dreamed of one day starting his own group with his own teachings. And in 1968,
cult.
at the ripe age of 50,
He was right.
he decided it was time to do just that. The group began in Huntington Beach, California, and went by many names over the years,
What the
like
fuck?
Teens for Christ, the Children of God, the Family of Love, the Family International, or just the Family. But regardless of its name, there was no denying what this group was. A cult. A cult led by David Berg.
That is
Berg
crazy.
would find young hippies and those struggling with drug addiction and mental health issues, and convince them to join his group by stating that the end of the world was coming soon, and that they needed to follow in his path and join his family to save their souls.
Fuck.
It was pretty standard cult ideology, but at the time it was extremely effective, with the sect amassing a staggering 10,000 members at its peak. And at first, David got by with fairly standard
10,000?
teachings from the Bible, although
What'd I
this wouldn't
tell
last.
you?
After some time, Berg began addressing his followers via frequent illustrated messages called Mo letters that featured his ramblings and teachings from the time, with Berg slowly ingraining
Ramblings,
into his
that's all
members
it
that the
is.
contents of these letters should be taken as seriously, if not more so, than the Bible. In one of these letters sent out in 1972, Berg claimed that God was going to destroy the United States and that the group needed to flee the country immediately, with Berg demanding that his followers spread out all across the globe and open up communal homes where members could live as one, far away from the public eye. As a result, many members packed up their things and left right away, leading to roughly 130 communities being established across 70 different countries,
For
essentially
reals?
overnight. This mass migration had an extremely significant impact on the family, as it left practically the entire group outside of the United States, and more importantly, outside of the United States jurisdiction, meaning
That's
that
so
Berg can now
creepy.
get away with far more than he used to. And unsurprisingly, this is where he began to tighten his control.
That is so crazy.
The full-time members were made to give up all of their earthly possessions to the group and cease all contact
You
with
know
their
what though? I'm thinking like, I know why, but I'm like, how did he pull this off? Like he's one dude.
It's
And he-
brainwashing.
Fuck. I mean, they were already probably vulnerable, so like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's easy to like, but I feel like most cults start off of fear.
A lot. Yeah, they use like religion and fear.
Yeah.
Fear in religion to like lock people in. Like a lot of people have this like fear of mortality, like they're
Yeah.
dying,
Fuck.
and we don't know what comes next or like in the afterlife. So he uses that fear against them. Like,
Damn.
it's basic brainwashing.
That's crazy that he was able to do it to thousands.
Like to get these
though.
people to leave their families, leave the United States. How can I put it? Like a lot of people like a strong leader. Like people, that's why people look up to celebrities. Like people like when people are so like confident and seem like they know what they're talking about and come off as like charming. People want to be like them. So that kind of like they believe in what they say. Like if they think they know it all. And like he used religion to do that, and
That's
it's
actually fucking crazy. That's crazy though.
friends who were non-believers, cutting them off from the outside world completely. And these restrictions also applied to the media they consumed.
I decided I would limit how much I would watch the TV. now I've got the answer. It's the slave, I'm the master. It no longer has a spell on me.
In his teachings, Berg denounced all forms of entertainment made outside of the cult, since he believed that this would poison the minds of his members and potentially sway them into leaving the group. And so, instead, he insisted that his followers only consume media that was produced directly by the family, with these works often being created by Berg himself or the other followers he enlisted, and then shipped directly to the members' homes, leading to hundreds if not thousands of videos, movies, and TV shows being produced and shared among the family. But for Berg, this wasn't just about providing entertainment. It was really all about controlling the minds of his group, and even more importantly, indoctrination, with his primary targets being children. From birth, most kids were not shown any media other than what the cult gave their parents, with these works quite literally shaping their minds into following everything that the cult believed in without question. The main themes of these were usually things like always be happy,
more than 70 little muscles form a frowny face,
but only 14 muscles put a smile in.
Not the kids being in the videos.
Right?
always show love, and never, under any circumstances, question your parents.
Wow.
Always best to do it 'cause Daddy said so. Do it 'cause Daddy said so. Do it 'cause Daddy said so. Trust.
That's fucking wild, dude.
Has anybody checked on these kids where they are now?
As it too was created by the
Like, are they
family in order to
okay?
instill their beliefs into its child viewers. With the line trust and obey being hammered home time and time again, as those creating the programs didn't want their kids questioning any of the practices. And so they were teaching them to simply smile along and trust the adults. But because the group was the one producing and distributing the content, they basically had no regulations placed on them, meaning that they could include whatever they want in these shows without any repercussions, leading to many of the showrunners exploring some of the group's
You know what's
more
crazy though?
controversial-
You know what's crazy? Something I gotta say. Some parents actually like do that. Like some parents are like, okay, you see the kid like act something, and the parents is like, "Cause I said so."
Yeah.
Like I feel like as a parent, you should give your kid like a reason why you're saying no. Don't just say, "Oh, cause I said so."
Yeah.
Cause like, yeah, I seen that shit a lot of times. Like, bro, I go to my friend's house, like when I was a kid, and they used to ask their parents something. Their parents say no, and they say why? They say, "Cause I said so."
Yeah, my grandpa would do that to me.
They
all
don't
the
give
time.
like a reason.
Yeah, they don't just communicate. Simple communication.
Right? All you have to do is say.
All you gotta say is the reason why.
Yeah, no, because
it's getting late, or I just don't want you to go, or whatever the reason is. Like,
I'm trying to think of why though. Because I said so. Is it because they don't have a reason and they're just not trying to let you
because
go?
they just want to feel authoritative to you. Like, like they don't want you to question them. Like,
that is true. That's true. That's crazy though, because like a lot of parents go by that though. Yeah, that's fucking wild.
Which becomes extremely troublesome when you realize that the family wasn't just your standard cult, and instead, it was a sex cult.
What the fuck?
When you think of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, what are you
That's
thinking
horrible.
about? You think about a beautiful naked man and a beautiful naked woman. And what's the first thing that a beautiful naked man and a beautiful naked woman would, of course, naturally do as soon as they saw each other and nobody else around? I think just one look was all it took.
This nigga needs to be executed.
David Berg was a deeply perverted man. The idea of sex consumed him and seeped its way into essentially all of his teachings.
I think Adam and Eve
so he
were
was basically a psycho that gained a
right
following
now
somehow.
Making not pina colada. I think they're making some other kind of juices.
And once his followers were outside of the US, he began to preach something he called the law of love, which essentially said that the family should be showing all people love, and that love should come in the form of sex.
Bro,
That's what I preach. And I preach sex, boys and girls. Hallelujah.
And so he told his followers to open up their relationships to outsiders, calling the practice sharing, as you were made
That's
to share your
disgusting.
partner in the hopes of enticing new people to join the group. But he wasn't satisfied with just this, and instead he began to mandate that the women of the group participate in something he called
Why are people
flirty
listening?
fishing. Also known as FF, flirty fishing describes the practice
It
of
cannot be
women
this
going into bars at
low
night
of
in
not
order to.
Oh my god, I gotta say something. It's crazy how this video, like what this dude is doing, like people like what this dude is doing. I know people who think like this though. Like I know some people that's like that actually think sex is love, and that's why they like men and women like they have all like a fucking high ass body count because they think like sex means like, okay, this person likes me.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
The goal of this
That's
was to convince
disgusting.
these men to join the family, though more realistically, the goal was also to make money, as they were made to charge for their
They were
services, with
prostituting?
the women being told to seek lonely businessmen. And this is something that Berg not only pushed heavily, but outright mandated, insisting that every woman in the group do this or face being removed from the family, even those who were married. And Berg was so serious about this that he sent every colony report forms so that they could report how much flirty fishing was being done, in order to check their statistics and make sure that they were up to par. Understandably, many women of the group were concerned by this and wanted nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
However, most of them had moved all the way across the world and sacrificed all of their belongings to be in this group, meaning that their removal would leave them with nothing. They were trapped. Simply put, Berg was forcing the women of the group into prostitution, and he was shameless about it too, calling them God's whores and Christ's hookers.
Dude,
But
what?
worst
Wow.
of all, Berg knew that flirty fishing could put these women in grave danger, as he admitted to them that violent assaults were going to happen, but he said that if you want to live, simply don't resist. And if you do get
What
hurt
the
or even
fuck?
killed,
This nigga is wild. Oh my god, he's Lucifer himself. This nigga is different in the worst way possible.
That is crazy.
Fuck, I just read like
he needs to be
that's a real
fucking shot
sentence.
with a shotgun.
I'm pretty sure he's dead already, but this
I know, but again,
this is a real like
bruh.
god damn.
Please tell me somebody murdered him.
Nah,
He did
knowing
not die of old age.
this
This
nigga
is evil.
But you already know knowing this nigga, he probably like took something and killed himself like a little bitch.
was God's will. And this was on top of a myriad of other horrific things that Berg said that I can't even repeat here. But the man saying all of these horrific things was the same man who wrote Life with Grandpa, and he used this medium to normalize his sex cult's beliefs for the children watching, which gives more context as to why women were portrayed in the way they were in these books and the show, as Life with
Fucking
Grandpa was breaking
robot.
down the young girls watching and grooming them for a life of prostitution that they were made to accept without question.
It's crazy.
And obey, for there's no other way. Trust and obey.
Though the show wasn't only for preparing the kids for the perverse lifestyles they were headed for, and instead, they were
I don't
already
even
becoming
know.
well accustomed to it. Throughout his Mo letters, Berg also began to preach that children should be involved in these affairs and sharing as well, stating that he
What?
believed age should have nothing to do with it. In fact, he believed that children
Bruh, please tell me somebody like
No.
aired them out. Like, bro,
Oh.
what?
No, this might be like every time I watch a Nick video, it's some shit I've never heard about before, and this is just
No, for real.
this is
but
on the top of my list. That's like just like fucking wow. I ain't never.
I
heard
need to
this
know
shit.
where are these survivors at? Like this.
He probably gonna
shit
touch.
is
He probably gonna
crazy.
touch on it at the end, but this is just fucking wild to me. Dude. This is just so disgusting, my nigga.
And I hope all the men who were a part of this
Yeah.
too go down. 'Cause
Fuck.
that is just like, why? Why? Kids? Who'd agree to that shit?
Oh
Like,
my god, dude, this
kids?
is
should be taught
bad.
about this lifestyle essentially as soon as they're born. And although, again, I can't read his exact words on this, Berg had declared open season on pedophilia, and much like flirty fishing, it was mandatory.
What the fuck?
The abuse that followed is unimaginable, at a scale far too large to fully know to this day. Abuse that the parents of the children not only allowed, but often participated in, with one of the more notorious large-scale accounts coming from something that the group called the love video. This movie was a result of Berg sending out requests to all of the parents to send him lewd videos of their children dancing, which he not only took for himself, but packaged together into a long-form compilation video that was then distributed to all of the cult's members, encouraging the others to film similar content, with Berg going as far as creating a guide to help create the perfect video. And not only did many parents go along with this, but many clearly enjoyed it.
People are fucking sick,
shared
bro.
with us the video that just came from World Services, and it was so inspiring. It was so beautiful. The love video.
And for this couple specifically, this wasn't the only order that they were happily following.
And it was really a blessing, too, for Joe and Hobo, because they had a good chance to share also with Sally. Amen. And so the Lord's really setting us freer and freer to obey and to be free and to show that sample of freedom and love to the world.
This is like...
Life with Grandpa was literally created to indoctrinate kids into a pedophilic sex cult, and it makes you realize why exactly it and so many other of the cult's programs were hammering home this point of not questioning your parents or any adults, and to simply obey and smile.
So the right thing is
to obey.
Because the adults in their lives were now suddenly doing unimaginable things to them, and they were being groomed not to question it, making some of the show's segments horrendous in hindsight.
One very special way you can show the big people that you love them is by giving them lots of hugs, kisses, and cuddles. Oh, a child's love and affection really encourages and inspires the big people.
It was normalizing their abuse, and because of this, many children never questioned the horrible assaults that they endured. Assaults that were all fueled and pushed by David Berg's sick perversions.
God created boys and girls able to have children by about the age of 12 years of age.
What?
Now he's gonna advocate child and sex. Yes.
Which were far from theoretical, as Berg himself allegedly partook in this practice repeatedly with his own children and stepchildren, as incest was also a key point of his teachings, and his adult followers rarely dared to question this, as those who refused to partake in Berg's latest teachings were again at risk of removal from the group, which is even more devastating for those who had children, as much like all of their possessions, their kids were pledged and belonged to the family. And the kids themselves couldn't seek help either, as those that refused to trust and obey were sent away to actual prison camps owned by the cult until they were basically reprogrammed.
What the fuck? I'm gonna listen to her, but I just need this is just...
Damn, that's just evil.
He literally had...
How did they not get fucking raided by whatever fucking countries they're in? That's crazy.
He has so much fucking power that it's just mind-blowing to understand, like, how a person is fucked up can have this much, but it don't even surprise me, because, like, oh my god. Shit.
Sent to camps until they were reprogrammed.
Reprogrammed is crazy as fuck.
Damn, I just can't imagine, like, what those kids went through.
So he had camps, and he had, like, yo, this nigga was wildin', bro.
I was sent with my brother to the Philippines. We had armed guards from the Filipino military keeping us in. They would publicly beat you if you asked to leave, then try to break you and get you to confess.
And the group continuously got away with this too, thanks in large part to Berg's orchestration of the group leaving the United States, which looking back was almost certainly done on purpose. Plus, many members were actually living in hiding. In fact, all of the members were made to change their names upon joining the group, and most were told to never give out their last names, meaning that if any child wanted to report the abuse that had happened to them, they would be unable to provide even the names of their abusers. And this included Berg too, who at this point lived most of his life in hiding, going by numerous aliases to avoid detection. Aliases like King, Moses, Mo, Dad, and eventually Grandpa.
That's crazy.
The entire show was about him, David Berg, which is why he was shown as a wise, unquestioned religious-like figure who the children were made to look up to. And that wasn't all, as the characters shown alongside Berg were also members of his real-life family that lived with him in a remote commune. Mother Maria was the nickname of Karen Zerby, David's wife who helped him run the cult and facilitate this era of hypersexualization, while Aunt Sarah was based on Sarah Kelly, the woman in charge of running the prison camp made to punish the kids who dared question the family's beliefs.
Sarah Kelly, who was responsible for me being held against my will in the Philippines.
But the most grotesque detail to come from the revelation of who these characters are was that it showcased David Berg's polygamy, as he was actually married to many people in the real world, and 2 characters on the show itself, Mother Maria and Davida, his then 5-year-old stepdaughter.
Married to her?
Yo, oh my God.
That's sick. 5 years old. No. If I was a survivor, I would have came back for blood.
I'm trying to like think of something to say. This shit is wild, bro.
Davida would eventually go on to tell her story, stating that she had been Berg's child bride.
And there was a ceremony with the ring and everything, and once I turned 5 years old was when I was implicated into being one of his queens, so to speak.
Along with allegations that she had been victimized by him countless times. And she wasn't the only victim of Berg's perversions. Techi was often sexualized by Berg publicly, with Berg having stories made and illustrated depicting his fantasies about her when she was just a child. On top of this, numerous people within the group also claimed that she had been outright assaulted by the hands of Berg, as well as many others in the group.
What?
And look at our pretty, pretty girls today. You're dressed in such nice dresses and your hair looks so nice. Yes, you look so pretty for all the children that are watching today.
The context of who these characters are makes this already disturbing show that much more sickening. But of all of the horrible stories to come from the real-life characters of Life with Grandpa, there's one that is far and away the most horrific. The story of Davidito.
Oh no, bro.
David is such a handsome boy, isn't he, girls? Would you like for David to share some more lessons?
Yes, Grandpa.
Are you all ready? Okay, David, you have the floor.
Oh my
His real name was Ricky Rodriguez, and as a baby, he was taken in as Berg's son following Maria conceiving him with a man after a night of flirty fishing. And being David's first son, he was given the nickname Davidito. As for David Berg, he viewed this child as essentially a messiah. He began telling his followers that Davidito would one day save them from the apocalypse, causing Davidito to become a celebrity within the group, and worshipped as a religious figure when he was just a baby. Which explains why he was given so much airtime during Life with Grandpa, and why he was constantly being showered with gifts.
We want to give you a little surprise because you were such a good witness.
And for David and Karen, they wanted Davidito's life and childhood to be a guide for all members of the group, as they raised him in what they believed to be the perfect manner for a godly household.
Please tell me he got
and
away.
So the couple
This is
and
so
several
scary.
other contributors documented the way he was raised, with daily journal entries that were published as weekly newsletters, and eventually turned into one massive book titled The Story of Davidito. And the family truly believed that this over 700-page book was the ultimate guide for parenting and showed the only proper way to raise a child. Though what it actually showed was just how badly Davidito was being abused. Davidito was described laying next to his nude nannies, witnessing orgies involving his own mother, and being touched sexually by the adults around him, with these examples being presented through not only written stories, but actual photographs, with the adults involved having their faces removed and drawings placed over the top of them in order to hide their identities. The book was not only promoting sexual acts with children, but it was outright showing it, and showing it happen to Davidito. And because of this, we have a daily journal entry of all the abuse that this child suffered, starting when he was an infant. Despite all the heinous acts that had been going on within the family, they had up until this point gone virtually unchecked by the public eye. But the story of Davidito would prove to be the first domino to fall, as the book leaked to the press.
Tonight, the cult Children of God, founded by Moses David Berg, he reportedly sanctioned sex among children.
This immediately became a news story all across the world, and it began shining a light on the family and its twisted beliefs. But despite all the constant news coverage, and the story of Davidito being tangible proof of the cult's horrible practices...
I gotta say, Davidito, he got it the worst.
I know.
He got it the fucking worst.
That's what I'm saying. I hope he got away.
Dude, he got it the worst, bro.
He's not even gonna know like what's normal.
I'm trying to figure out like how is that?
Like, how do you be born into this stuff and come back to society Like, you're just gonna feel so shitty. Like, damn. That's so fucked up.
I'm really just trying to understand, like, how is... okay, I understand, like, the David nigga, but how is it so many people that's, like, that evil? Because that shit is evil, bro.
I know.
Like, at that point, it's not even brainwashing. It's like these niggas are sick, too. Like, that's participating.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
There was still essentially nothing done to stop them, as very few arrests were ever made as a result, and even fewer resulted in convictions. So nothing was ever done to help Davidito.
No.
And so during his entire childhood and his early adult years, he stayed with the group. Though the older he got, the more he began to see the family for what they really were. And the constant pain that he was experiencing eventually made him want to just run away from it all. And so, in 1999, that's exactly what he did. Fleeing to the United States in the hopes of starting a new life. Though this was easier said than done, and no amount of distance was enough to keep him away from his tortured past. At one point during his time in the United States, Ricky actually opened up about the struggles he was experiencing on a website made for survivors of the family. And there, he documented just how bad things really were for him and several others behind the scenes, living with Berg,
Oh my God.
appropriately titling the post, Life with Grandpa. It was apparent that he was haunted by this life that he tried to escape, as the trauma was an everyday cycle of hell, and he just couldn't take it anymore.
Do you know that sometimes the Lord likes to test our faith, to teach us patience, and to really make us pray? This is just what happened to me once.
What the fuck, dude?
Well, hey everyone.
Is that him?
I want people to know that even though some of the things that I'm going to try to do are rather shocking and maybe not right in a lot of people's books, I want to explain some of the reasons behind it.
Is he about to shoot himself?
On January 7th, 2005,
Damn, that's
Ricky
so
Rodriguez
fucked
set up a
up.
video camera in his apartment and expressed his desire to kill his mother and other leaders of the group for all the dreadful things that they had done.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
I thought he was about to kill himself.
Yeah, wait a minute. Let's hold on.
But to all the other children, with his hope being that this would finally bring down the family once and for all.
My goal is to get those sick bucks, Ma and Peter, and you know,
Yeah.
then I can go to the next life knowing that.
Wait a minute. Come on.
Not Davidito, Ricky.
Oh, Davidito was like his.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Ricky.
Ricky.
All right, listen. I'm actually impressed because, like, I thought he was like not even gonna be stable.
That's what I don't think he is stable.
No. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Let's not say stable, but I thought he was just gonna lay down and take it like forever. Like he was gonna just let them abuse him forever.
Like he wasn't gonna realize.
Yes.
I thought he wasn't gonna realize either, but I'm
Yeah, I
glad
thought he was
did.
either. That's crazy that he
'Cause that
fucking woke
shit's
up.
fucking. Like imagine leaving that and going to the real world and seeing how free everybody is, and like all the weight of the trauma is probably just like eating him alive.
In a way, though, okay, remember when they was saying like, oh yeah, Davidito and shit like that, and it was like praising him because he was gonna be the one to save everybody? He literally like might be the one to save everybody from that nigga.
For real, because he wrote the whole thing about it on the website, started a website about it or whatever.
Yeah, and he got a gun. He talking about he going, what? Let's see what his plan is. This is
Go kill Grandpa.
Kill all them niggas.
You know that I made a difference.
With Ricky
But
going
he
as
do
far
got
as to
armed
show off
guards,
the
so I don't
various
know.
ways that he planned on torturing them.
I'm gonna have to make do. I got my drill here. Got lots of fucking duct tape.
God knows, he hears, he cares. He loves his girls and boys. He gives his very best to
Damn.
those who let him choose the toys.
By this point, David Berg had been dead for years, though the family carried on with his mother, Karen Zerby, assuming full control, which explains why she was the primary target. And much like Berg, Karen spent most of her life in hiding, with
evil,
Ricky
too.
being unable to track her down, though he was able to find Angela Smith, one of the nannies responsible for raising him, as well as one of his most prominent abusers, as she was even shown in the story of Davidito assaulting him.
What?
At this point, Ricky was exhausted, and Angela was his last shot at getting intel to help him find his mother and finally carry through on his plans. And so, he invited her over for dinner under the guise of rejoining the group.
I went home that night and tried to wait patiently for the next day. But the Lord still had more lessons that he wanted to teach me.
They keep showing these creepy
This
clips.
is what happened.
Before Ricky could even get the information he was looking for, something in him snapped, and midway through their conversation, Ricky grabbed a knife and stabbed Karen in the arm, and then slit her throat. He fled the area that night, driving for hours until he reached California, the place that years before David Berg had started the family. There, he called his ex-wife, professing to everything he did, saying that he did it mainly for his sister Techi, but he felt no better. In fact, he felt worse. And even looking back at the video, it's very obvious that this was something that Ricky didn't truly want to do, and instead, he felt like he had to do it, to avenge everyone that the family had hurt.
I'm not trained. I don't know how to fucking do this. I don't even want to fucking do this. God damn it.
And it was too late to take back what he did. And so he stopped the car in a dark parking lot, sat there for a moment thinking about everything that had happened during his painful life, and ended his suffering once and for all.
No!
Boy, that's what these
He
fuckers
still
did
had to
us.
kill Maria.
Didn't actually, grab a knife and cut us up, but man,
Fuck.
they sure fucked up our brains. That's the way it was at Grandpa and Mama's house. Literally or figuratively, they're going down. So, with that happy thought, I shall leave you.
Damn, he should have just took all the evidence to the police or something. The international. Is there an international police?
I don't know. I thought it was
The FBI. He should have took it to the FBI. They could do that.
That was gonna be a good ending.
Investigate in other countries.
Like a good ending for him. But
He just got revenge a little bit. And
he
it didn't feel like
it wasn't even revenge for real.
it wasn't what he wanted it to be.
That must feel so shitty. Like he finally got what he wanted, but he's like, well, that didn't really do anything. I'm still fucking traumatized. He's just like, well,
He only killed one of his abusers, but not all of them. He couldn't even get the information from her for the other one.
I couldn't either, because seeing her face again, it's like, yo, that shit heaps you up.
Honestly, it probably did take him back.
Yes, and he was just like, yeah, fuck the talking, bro, you're dead.
But his siblings too, that's the worst part. It's one thing to survive something, but to watch your siblings go through it too with you is just another type of pain.
So they said David, oh fuck, let's see.
Not David, Ricky.
Ricky Rodriguez's death was devastating for the community of survivors of the family, and it caused shockwaves all throughout the family itself, as his final video was plastered all over the news. And though it didn't happen in the way he expected it or wanted it to, Ricky's life and death undoubtedly contributed to the decline of the family, and helped diminish the cycle of abuse within the group. Starting from the story of Davidito, the public pressure forced Berg to outlaw the widespread abuse that he once preached. And though it is believed that it never really came to an end, it was at the very least significantly reduced. And by the time the news began to cover Ricky's death, it proved to be the final wake-up call for many still within the group, as they finally began to see through the facade that had once controlled their lives.
Like Grandpa says, prayer is powerful. When we pray, things will happen and things will be different.
It's difficult to watch any of Life with Grandpa, knowing its history, its purpose, and the real people that it was inspired by. Though as soon as the media began taking notice of the cult, many members were made to purge the media that was sent to them that may be considered incriminating. And as a result, it appears that most of Life with Grandpa is missing to this day, and potentially destroyed forever. Currently, only 4 episodes have been recovered, and it's not even known how many more were released, or even what year the show started or ended. But considering how closely the show mirrored the book, it's possible that these potentially missing and destroyed episodes are much worse than the ones we have today. But despite not knowing the full extent of the show, it's clear that Life with Grandpa and the countless other programs that the family made did exactly what they wanted them to. They brainwashed an entire generation of the cult's children, and the effects were devastating.
But they become extremely agitated when we ask them about Moses David Berg's teachings on sex.
My Little Fish. Now, your father described that as a routine publication.
They're not having sex, they're just kissing and hugging in bed. That's not sex.
If you show it to other people, they don't understand. That stuff's not supposed to be publicized. So many people think sex is wrong. So many people hate us. But we just telling them the truth. We're just telling them it's not wrong. We're just telling them that there's nothing wrong with it. And here comes these publicists are doing them to everybody.
This is fucking
Between the
sick.
strange content from the program itself, its obvious attempts at indoctrinating kids into a cult that was only ever going to harm them, the real-life people behind the characters, and the fact that this propaganda was so effective, I have no doubt that Life with Grandpa is the darkest children's show that I've ever come across.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Though shockingly, there's somehow one more layer to the story that makes this program even more disturbing.
How?
Like, how can it get worse than this?
And now, here's the exciting ending to this story.
One thing that we haven't discussed yet is who was actually the one behind the creation of the show. There's no doubt that it's David Berg's stories and was probably done at his request, but who was the one actually making it? Well, unfortunately, most of the people who worked on the show have their identities hidden by only using their first names, or even using straight up aliases, so I could hardly find any information on any of them, with the exception of one. Peter Puppet.
Ew.
Peter Puppet was sort of a celebrity within the group, being responsible for numerous puppet shows, including one called The Lovettes, which was actually far more popular than Life with Grandpa, and was even supposedly broadcast on TV in the Philippines, with the show being a disturbing rabbit hole in its own right.
Would you like to hear a story?
They
Well, then
look
let's go
freaky
see
as
Grandpa in
fuck.
the garden.
Yes.
Hello, children. So nice of you to visit us in the garden today.
But Peter Puppet owned this group, and was in charge of the Lovettes team, and coincidentally, the Lovettes just so happened to be credited as the producers of Life with Grandpa. So Peter Puppet was, at the very least, one of the contributing creators of the show. And he also seems to be the one in charge of performing the actual musical numbers on the show, as they featured puppets that belonged to Peter and the Lovettes team, with these segments interestingly being credited to an unknown man named Peter Pioneer.
We have a beautiful
Now that's
song
him.
from Peter Pioneer.
It's not a concrete link, but it's clear that Peter Puppet had a role in the show's creation, and helped push the family's disturbed ideology onto hundreds of kids across the globe.
Yeah, he did.
But during the creation of Life with Grandpa, it seems his own beliefs were being tested. In the beginning of the video, we saw an example of the family's view on doctors.
Surely a doctor would have stitched it, but our God is still a God of miracles. Praise the Lord.
This sentiment was really common in the family, as Berg outright forbade any medicine or surgeries of any kind,
What?
instead preaching that miracles from God were the only way to heal. And because of this, many members of the family with chronic ailments or fatal illnesses were basically left to die.
Damn.
And one of those left suffering was Peter Puppet. His life is almost entirely a mystery, as he lived in hiding in one of the family's compounds, but according to some of the group's members, one day he noticed something in his neck, a small lump. And over the next few weeks and months, it began to slowly get bigger and
Damn,
bigger,
ain't
to the point that
karma
Peter
a
had to go
bitch.
visit a doctor in order to see what was wrong.
Not his bitch ass.
And it was there he learned that inside of him was an aggressive tumor that was only going to get larger. The good news was the tumor was actually operable and could be removed with little risk to his life, but the bad news was surgeries were against the family's beliefs. And so he turned it down, instead opting to go back to the compound to pray the tumor away with the
That's
other members.
crazy.
This, however, never happened. Instead, the mass began to grow at an even faster rate, to the point that those around him could notice it, eventually leading to Peter hiding away in his room, away from the others, not wanting to be seen. However, at some point during his struggle, a photograph was taken, showing the entire compound he was living with. And in the background, we see Peter.
Holy fuck. Damn.
Oh, they know they were wrong for that.
Fucking blob.
He know he should have went to got that surgery, bro. It looked like it's too late.
It's way too late. I don't even know how he's fucking breathing. That is insane.
I just can't like wrap my mind around this photograph that
These are like
these people are actually all there taking a photo together.
yeah, like doing this shit.
Like they're all there together taking
But just
this
look at
picture,
look at all
laughing.
their look at all their faces. Of like you look at all of them, you can like tell that something is missing. Like within them, like they just don't look like they just look soulless.
Yeah.
They think this is right. And this is the right thing.
Especially that dude.
Which one? The nigga in the middle with the geezer
yes,
glasses?
Yes.
Oh my god, this is fucking wild.
That has
Damn, bro. So, oh my god, let's finish it. Let's finish it.
Peter, whose neck is impossibly large. From here, it's said that Peter began to beg the family to take him to get the surgery, as the tumor was quite literally suffocating him slowly, turning him against the very beliefs that he once forced upon so many children over the years. But the family forbade it, insisting that he wait for a miracle that was never going to come. With nowhere else to turn, Peter Puppet supposedly ended his own life shortly after this photograph was taken, adding the final pillar of context to Life with Grandpa, a program that can only be described
Rest in peace,
as the
nigga.
darkest children's show ever created.
We've got to go now. Let's wave bye-bye, kids. God bless you. Come on, say bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Just sick and nasty.
Sadly I wandered for many a year, driven by hunger and filled with fear.
I'll sock you.
I want to kill that nigga, like, for real. God.
There is no way he just died normally.
Oh God, that's what pisses me the fuck off. That he just died.
Natural causes.
It pisses me off that he just died and like he didn't.
Never convicted.
Yes, he didn't come to face with his fucking. Oh my God, the shit that he done. Wait, to this day?
What?
Nah, you lying like a motherfucking nigga. To this day?
There's no way.
She's not been photographed or seen since 2010. She's cooked.
She knows she's gonna get fucking tracked down and murdered by all the victims.
Jerry Curry left the family once hiding. He was last seen living in Costa Rica 2018. We come to see Tahoe.
Don't work for no more churches if you escape that shit.
Oh my God, dude.
Damn, they cut her the fuck off.
Good. Get her the fuck out of there.
Why should I perish in dark despair? Here where there's no one to
Bruh.
What?
No.
To this
She's
day.
brainwashed.
Wait, what do you mean to this day?
She's the little sister. She's brainwashed.
Yeah. Wait, what do they mean to this day?
These wrongs I've done.
Oh, this is a bad story. I know, like, it's terrible, but like,
Hoping my father is
oh my God, this is bad, my nigga. Like bad news bears, my nigga.
That's probably where all the children are being fucking trafficked to.
This really heated me up, bro. Like, this was a terrible, like, damn, this was bad. Fuck, dude. It really pissed me off the fact that David never faces consequences. He died thinking that he was like the nigga. Like, it just was nothing, bro.
That's so sad.
Oh,
Ricky.
Only Ricky.
At least Ricky really wanted to come for him, but like he was already dead by that time. That's crazy.
Fuck, bro.
Horrible. Nobody got justice whatsoever.
Nobody got not a lick of justice.
Everyone is still there, brainwashed to this day.
And the people who escaped probably got the same fate as Ricky. They probably just, it was too much for them and ended up like offing themselves. This was just wild, bro. I hope that nigga David gets reincarnated as a roach, bro. On God, this.
No.
This has seemed like some shit that'll make a lot of motherfuckers mad. Like, I'm angry, like, but there's nothing like, it's just nothing. There's nothing. It's kind of like equivalent to like when like I found out, like when I was like not young, well, I basically was young, like 17, 18, like that. The world wasn't what it was, and like kids around the world, millions were being like trafficked and shit like that. That shit, I was like, bro, like that's really like a thing. And when you really find that shit, when you find that shit out, it's like, bro, you trying to get to the bottom of it, but you can't do shit about that. That's the fucked up thing. Like, you know, people say like you can do whatever you want in this world. When it comes to kids being trafficked, you literally like you can't make a change on that shit. You just have to sit back and like.
The only thing you can do is investigate.
But still, like it's gonna happen regardless. Like, it's just damn, it's fucked up. Damn, it's the fact that David didn't see any type of like repercussions for the shit that he did, but realistically, he's gonna pay for the shit he did. Like, he's gonna pay for that shit eventually. Okay, so basically, so some people will see this and be like where was God at? Where was God at when all this shit was going on? Like, where was he at? Like, God just let all this shit happen to people. The thing is, it's like, okay, we all have free will, right? So okay, how can I say this? Not everything is, since all humans have free will, then, you know, shit that happens on this world, on this earth, because of us. If you get what I mean.
No, yeah, I get.
So like, God can't do everything for you. Like, some people, like, you have to do the shit yourself too. Like, you got to put in the work yourself. Like,
but God will make a way for you.
No, of course, but you actually have to, just like the shit that he was saying. He was like, God will have a miracle. You don't need surgeries or medicine. Even though that's true, on the other side of it, like, we got free will and you got to take care of yourself. God not gonna do every single
like
thing
maybe the
for
miracles
you.
that you got diagnosed in time. Now get that fucking surgery. The fuck?
Nah, yeah, this was crazy to hear, dude. Oh, it just this shit gonna, like, I'm gonna be thinking about this for a little bit, bro. Like, damn, this shit's still going on to this day. And I mean, it's not really crazy to think about that it still goes on, because shit goes on like that. Nigga, kids are still getting trafficked every single day. So like, this still going on isn't crazy. Huh?
He says it like it's still going on, but like, it's just so hard to believe it, because it's just like,
yeah, it's just wild.
It's just so sick. And the fact that it's exposed into the internet like this, it's like, how is it still going on?
I feel like because he's breaking it down to us. Like, if we didn't watch this video and somebody explained this to us, we'd be like, damn, that's crazy as fuck. But like, he's breaking down everything that they like was doing to a T. Hey, Nick real as fuck for this. Nick is real for making this video.
And putting all their names on there, the organization names.
I don't even know if it's their name, bro. None of these people are real. Not real, but none of these names are like attached.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the names that the group went by.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's just endless. It's an endless cycle, this shit. I ain't gonna lie. But look, that was the video, you guys. Let us know what else you guys want us to react to. Like, comment, subscribe if you're new. We catch you on the next video.